Human migration is the movement of people from one place to another with the intention of settling permanently or temporarily at a new location. The movement is often over long distances and from one country to another. But internal migration is also possible. Indeed, this is the dominant form globally. People may migrate as individuals, in family units, or in large groups. Historically, early human migration concludes the peopling of world. For instance, migration to world regions where there was previously no human habitation during the Upper Paleolithic. Since the Neolithic, most migrations were merely warlike, consisting of a conquest on the part of expanding populations. Nomadic movements are normally not regarded as migrations, as the movement is generally seasonal. There is no intention to settle in new place, and only a few people have returned in form of lifestyle in nomad tribes. Temporary movements for the purpose of travel, tourism, pilgrimage, or the commute is also not regarded as migration. In the absence of an intention to live and settle in the visit places. Migration can be voluntary or involuntary. Involuntary migration includes forced displacement, such as deportation, slave trade, trafficking in human beings, and the fight, like war refugees or ethnic cleansing. Colonialism has extended the population of a certain. In the modern period, human migration has firstly taken the form of migration within and between existing walk.
The migration process is very old, and the factors of it are numerous. People can migrate for different reasons, positive or negative ones. That's what explained the economist Everett Lee during the late 60s. For him, migration is a consequence of the influence of the environment on the people who live there. And each place has different factors which can give you reason to move or reason to stay. Lee's theory divides factors causing migration into two groups: the push factors and the pull factors. Push factors are things that are unfavorable about the area that one lives in. It's a situation you want to live. It could be, for example, war, famine, disease, political threat, or loss of wealth. But there also are some positive factors. Factors which don't push you to live a bad situation, but factors which attract you to a new place. Those are the pull factors, and they can be represented by new job opportunities, better living and education conditions, or also better medical care.
So now we will move on to the forced migration, which is a groupment of some push factors from the Lee's theory. Forced migration may involve entire population driven away from their places of life, fleeing genocide or deported. But there are also forced migration concerning a lot more or less important part of the population suffering from religious, political, or ethnic persecution, the effect of international or civil wars, the effect of natural or industrial disaster, or even climate change. The multiplication of war, especially in Black Africa, Central Asia, and in the Middle East, sometimes makes whole generations live in refugee camps, which are often poorly equipped to accommodate those populations. In 2016, 65.6 million people had to flee their home due to conflict or persecution. This is 1 person per every 113 people on Earth. Here you can see a map with different reasons of forced migration around the world. For example, you can see that in Nigeria, because of the violence in the northern part of the country, more than 2.2 million had to leave their home.
So now I'm going to talk about economic migration. In other words, we call them labor migration. Economic migration is moving to a place where one can aspire to have a career and better job opportunities, which end up contributing to better living conditions. Migrant workers usually do not have an intention to stay long in the country or region in which they work. Migrant workers who work outside their home country are also called foreign workers. They might also be called guest workers, especially when they have been sent for or invited to work in the host country before leaving the home country. The International Labour Organization estimated in 2014 there were 232 million international migrants worldwide who are outside their home countries for at least 12 months, and maximum half of them were estimated to be economically active, being employed or seeking employment. Some countries have millions of migrant workers. Some migrant workers may be legal immigrants. Overall, the estimated number of international migrants has increased over the past 4.5 decades. The total estimated 244 million people living in a country other than their country of birth in 2015 is almost 100 million more than in 1990, when it was 153 million, and over 3 times the estimated number in 1970, around 84 million, while the proportion of international migrants globally has increased over this period. It is evident that the vast majority of people continue to live in the country in which they were born. Most international migrants in 2015, around 72%, were of working age, like around 20 years old to 64 years old, with a slight decrease in migrant age less than 20 between 2000 and 2015. It's around 17% to 15%, and a constant share around 12% of international migrants aged 65 years old or more since 2000.
Other reasons. People may move include to gain access to opportunities and services or to escape extreme weather. This type of movement, usually from rural to urban areas, may class as internal migration. Sociological, cultural, and ego-historical factors also play a major role. In North Africa, for example, emigrating to Europe counts as a sign of social prestige. Moreover, many countries were former colonies. This means that many people have relatives who live legally in the former colonial metropole and who often provide important help for immigrants arriving in that metropole. Relatives may help with job research and with accommodation. The geographical proximity of Africa to Europe and the long historical ties between northern and southern Mediterranean countries also prompt many to migrate. So, factors underpinning migration are numerous, relating to economic prosperity, inequality, demography, violence and conflict, and environmental change. While the overwhelming majority of people migrate internationally for reasons related to work, family and study, many people leave their homes and countries for other compelling reasons, such as conflict, persecution and disaster.